Kubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan ra sepi da ka singam beats aqua na molai moro hakajing dap sans nem jongka. Rengkat ka 3 Olives Restaurant M Crown Hotel Kendai Lat Shillong bat ka Orange Nissan Lom So Po Shillong. One ban thiet ya ka kali Datsun Ready Go bathamai ka bas kem bat bidor.
James PK Sangma Ubadairu Menteri Jongka Sorkar Jilla Ubapen ya ketenat sam boarding haga Jilla Meghalaya haga Laiterik Nopra Arajar Arpo ula pensyai bin pabin halor ki jingkeno ki balakta hadu kata-kata ya ketenat sam boarding Jongka Jilla Barok Kawai haga jing yakren bat kilat pathai kubor James PK Sangma ula pensyai pajba haga bayadai bat ka jingsong jing yarab baka sorkar pedeng kala ai syaka sorkar jela na ka Asian Development Bank kadai tangkaram bat ya ka jingkot tender ru labu renti tik kat kum ki kendon balap tha da ka Asian Development Bank shosho na kalyang jong James Sangma ulaya tho ru baka sorkar kala dep menjur haka bayadai bat ka jing pentrekam ya ka scheme Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Yojana na ka benta ban penpoy ya ka boarding Shakishnong nong kendong haka jela barok kawai. Haka jo kopor ula takrenting ru ya ka sorkar ka barim hapo ka jingyalam jong ka seng kongres ka bumshim lala ban pun urlong ya ka jingshna ya ka Ganol Hydroelectric Power Project ya ka balabu thong ban pendep ha urempang arajar khat pra. Nalor kini une menteri jong ka tenat sam boarding ula pensyai paj baru haka bayadai bat ka jingkenno bamsap haka saubhagya scheme.
In the original scope of work, out of 1,80,000 total meters, only 75,112 were smart meters. The revised arrangement made all of these 1,80,000 meters dual mode hybrid smart meters. The government of Meghalaya stays committed to ensure that every household of the state is deployed with smart meters facility. The enhancement of the smart metering component in the revised arrangement is a resultant of adding 1,05,000 dual mode hybrid smart meters to the previous scope of work. So 75,112 plus 1,05,000. Why are smart meters necessary, one may ask? So while the old meters only worked in a prepaid configuration with no communication module, the new meters work in both prepaid and postpaid configurations. Further, they have a carrier interoperable communication module which works in a hybrid mode. Therefore, not only are the number of meters 2.4 times the original scope of work, they are also working on the latest technology, compliant with ISI standards. For the first time, we will have high quality power meters for the state. For that matter, during the assembly session, it was brought to notice that many households had faulty meters and were getting disproportionate bills. Another issue that was brought to notice was that meter readers did not visit villages to check the meters and take readings. This is one of the major issues which warrants the installation of smart meters across the state. The installation of smart meters will enhance the ease of usage for the consumers, for the customers. The citizens will be able to make prepaid payments from the comfort of their homes and also have access to their usage charges. This removes the need for meter readers, in fact. The smart meters will be connected to a central server with 24/7 communication enabled, ensuring that the instances of customers receiving faulty bills are reduced. Practically, it will be nil. The important part is that the customers will not have to bear any burden of these smart meters. The Phase 1 and Phase 2 budget for the DDU-JGY has been approved by the Rural Electrification Corporation, that is the REC, which is the funding agency. No project under the scheme can receive funding if it is not approved by the REC. Hence, this allegation stands nullified. The centre has also given a green signal to Phase 2 budget through the District Development Coordination and Monitoring Committee, that is in short form DISHA, the abbreviation. and hence doesn't warrant any confusion or ambiguity. The previous government, after several delays, cited that the project would be completed by February 2018, and we all know that they have failed in keeping this promise. Why they failed is necessary to be cited. The geological study of the project site conducted while the Congress was in power indicated deficiencies in the survey and inspection, the SNI. Their contractor encountered fractured rocks and loose boulders and therefore struck numerous roadblocks because of this. In other words, even they encountered geological surprises or issues. The 2017 CAG report flags this prominently. The report also cited that the DPR fleshed out in 2007, when the Congress was in power, was faulty. The project was approved as early as 2008, despite it being flagged as unviable. Despite taking almost a decade, the previous government was not able to make the project come to its fruition. When the NPP-led government took stock of the project, it had two choices to make. So when we were given two options, it could have been that we cancel and waste hundreds of crores of public money, these which were spent in a very unplanned manner, or the government had a choice of infusing the additional required funds for the project to make it viable and benefit the state's citizens, and to see that this project sees the light of day. And we took a conscious decision to choose the latter, that to rather than allow a wasted expenditure of hundreds of crores to go for making sure that this project, which is very important not just for the state of Meghalaya in general but for the Garo Hills in particular, that we must go ahead and make this project complete this project, throw some light on the Saubhagya scheme. It is necessary to mention here once again that as the NPP-led government stays committed to developing the power sector of the state, it successfully brought the Saubhagya scheme into the state immediately after it came to power. We all know that this Pan-India scheme was launched by Honorable Prime Minister, by the Government of India, in the year 2017. And this was a time when the Congress government was leading the state of Meghalaya. However, despite this being such a great scheme, which would benefit our citizens immensely, the Congress did not bring it to the people of Meghalaya, even though all other states did. For some reason best known to them, they did not. But we felt that this scheme would benefit our citizens, and we felt that we must implement this. Two companies from outside the state were awarded the project at 51% above the schedule of rates. That is again something that is being repetitively mentioned by the opposition, and I would like to clarify about this. The two companies which were awarded the project took part in an online e-tendering process as per the central government guidelines. Companies quoted the lowest bid, they were awarded the work only after due approval from the central government. All the prices quoted by the lowest bidders were verified by the central government agencies, and after they approved the same, only then were the letter of awards, the LOAs, issued by the state government, by the MCL. The Congress has been repeatedly mentioning this. This schedule of rates was brought out or designed by their government back in 2014. So this is like 4 to 5 years prior to the award. The local contractors pitched to take up the work at those SORs, and which is why they were awarded these projects accordingly. Under the Saubhagya scheme, with the combined efforts of all contractors, I am very happy to inform that 2,146 villages have been electrified in a record 1.5 years gap of time, with all registered users covered under the scheme. This has happened despite the stretched manpower during the pandemic and other crises that we have seen. The total outstanding dues that the industries owe the power department is 180, that is 180 crores, making it preposterous for the state to lose 700 crores because the outstanding dues is only 180 crores. Since 2002, no settlement of dues has taken place and electricity was still being supplied to the defaulters. In fact, under the previous government, in 2017, the one-time settlement or the OTS was attempted, rather unsuccessfully, by the NCL. To respond effectively to this legacy issue, the NPP-led government came up with a plan wherein the defaulting industries could save either 30% of their total outstanding dues or 100% of their delayed payment charges, whichever would be higher. The arrangement has been undertaken to ensure that the settlements can take place in a gradual manner for the state to recover the losses and also to ensure that industries which have been defaulting for a long time have an incentive to pay up. Friends, at this point, we do not see the need to play along the lines of petty politics of the Congress party. If they have chosen that path, perhaps that is the only way they feel that they can stay relevant. Our vision and diligence is clear, as our primary accountability partners are the citizens of the state of Meghalaya. Hence, with the need to inform the people, here are some of our achievements and future plans of action. In the state of Meghalaya, previously not a single megawatt worth of solar power was produced. There have been many projects and they have never seen the light of day. After the NPP-led government came into power, 90 megawatts worth of solar power has been sanctioned and initiated for the state. Focusing on more power generation, we will be adding 100 megawatts of solar generation in the next 6 months, for which the tendering process is presently going on. As a matter of fact, Meghalaya has received the highest sanction for this from the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India. The government has also managed to bring in an ADB grant worth $132.8 million for the state of Meghalaya to overcome its power-related issues and challenges. Apart from that, to reduce unfortunate incidents of electrocution due to no fencing of transformers or exposed wiring, we have decided to go for 100% underground cabling in Shillong, Tura and Jawai. We have also decided to replace old wires with aerial bunched cables in rural areas in the ADB Phase 2 program. The AB cables will be insulated and hence mitigate all the risks and also reduce theft at the same time. This will not only reduce dangers but also ensure aesthetic beauty of the city. Additionally, renovation and modernization of hydropower projects is also under process and will be completed in 6 to 8 months' time. This will help us to increase the efficiency and help in more generation.